Hey guys, thank you for joining in today for another episode of Cooking with Kaylin Divine. Right, today we're going to be making cube steak with broccoli and rice. Okay, and as you can see, my cube steak is here. I've already rinsed it off. Some people don't rinse their cube steak, but I like to rinse mine and let it drain. Okay, so it's ready to be seasoned, and we're going to go ahead and get started seasoning, and we're going to use a little Italian seasoning. Okay, we're going to use a little garlic and herbs. That's garlic and herb spicy seasoning. We're going to use a little Cajun seasoning. We're going to use a little of crushed rosemary. Right, and we're going to use a little onion powder. Okay. And we're going to sprinkle also a little, not going to use that one, we're going to use a little light pepper. Okay. Alright, and we're also going to use a little lemon pepper. That's the lemon pepper. Alright. And we're going to flip it. Alright, we've already measured our rice. We have 1 cup of rice that we're going to be cooking. Alright, we've already cut our onions up. We're not going to use a whole onion. We're just going to use a few onions to saute the cube steak in. And we're also going to use some of those onions to make onion gravy. Alright, and we're going to put a few bell peppers in it. I've already chopped up my bell pepper. I chop them up and put them in the freezer, and they last longer. So we already have chopped bell pepper that we're going to use. As you can see, the bell pepper here is all chopped up and ready to go. Okay. And we're going to use a little Worcestershire sauce on our cube steak to help keep it tender, because we know cube steak tends to draw up as it cooks, and the Worcestershire sauce will help keep it tender and moist. Okay. Alright, and we're also going to be cooking some broccoli today, so I have some broccoli florets that we're going to steam, and once I finish cooking the broccoli, we're going to sprinkle a little cheese on top and let the cheese melt. Alright guys, so we're having cube steak, rice, and broccoli today. And we have a little butter. We're going to use some butter to saute rather than grease. Okay, and the butter will help give the cube steak some flavor. We're not using the whole stick of butter. We're only going to use about 2 tablespoons. Now I've already taken the 2 tablespoons off, and the butter is browning now. Alright guys, as you can see, the butter is in that skillet, and it is good and hot. It's ready for the cube steak to go in it. Okay, our water for the rice has come to a boil, and we did put a little salt, just a dash of table salt in here, white table salt, in the water for the rice, and I sprinkled some parsley flakes in here. The parsley will help give it a little color. Parsley really doesn't have a strong flavor to it, but it gives it a little color. You can also add onions and bell pepper to your rice. That is a great combination. It seasons the rice and gives it a very good flavor. But we're not putting onions and bell pepper in our rice today. We're only using the parsley and a little table salt, just a dash of table salt. We don't want it to be too salty, because remember, we're making onion gravy over the cube steak, and that gravy will go over the rice, and the gravy will have plenty of flavor in it. Okay, so we're gonna get ready to put our rice in and let it come to a boil, and the rice will cook about 15 minutes. Okay, we're gonna pour our rice in. Okay guys, our onions are sauteed in the butter, and now we're getting ready to add our cube steak. Excuse the noise from the fan in the background. I have to turn the fan off. Okay, so we're putting our first piece of cube steak in here, and you can see it's lightly floured. Okay, we're going to add a second piece. Y'all, these onions smell so good. Oh my God, the onion smell, oh, the aroma from it is just so awesome, y'all. Just make you want to pick the onions up out the pan and just eat them. Okay, we're going to put our second piece in, and you can see the cube steak is lightly floured. Some people don't batter their cube steak. It's your preference, however you like it. But that's just the way I grew up making cube steak. That's the way my mama did hers. She would lightly flour the cube steak. You don't put a whole lot of flour, just kind of dab it around in there, and it helps give it a crust, and helps seals in the juices when you put that flour on there. It helps keep it from drying out. Also, when we put that Worcestershire sauce on here, it helps it drying out, because again, we know the cube steak is going to draw up anyway because of its texture. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of sit that in the pan. Okay, we're going to let these two pieces saute, and we'll come back in a few minutes and flip them over and let the other side saute. And then, okay, make sure that's done in there really good. Okay, we're going to let them cook, and then we'll cook the other two pieces, and our rice is cooking over here. Okay guys, we're just checking up on our rice. As you can see, the rice is almost done, and you can see how that parsley is mixed up in there. Okay, and we have our rice on a simmer. You don't want to cook it too fast, okay? So we're going to let the rice cook for a few minutes, and again, we have it set here on that little simmer mark. Okay, but the rice is almost done. Alright guys, we're back checking up on our cube steak. As you can see, it is lightly browning. And that's why we say we don't want a whole lot of flour. We don't want to fry it. We just want it to lightly brown on each side. So we've already flipped it. And you can see what the first side looks like. And it has those onions in it that was sauteing. That's going to help give it some flavor. And then once we start making our gravy, we're going to add even more onions into that gravy. And we're just going to make a little flour brown gravy. Brown some flour, add some water to it and some seasoning, let it simmer with the onions, and then we'll add our cube steak back to the gravy once the gravy has come to a boil and thickened up. Okay guys, we're finna get our broccoli started. It's already in the pot. As you can see, the rice is done now. So we're going to get started on our broccoli, and with the broccoli we're going to sprinkle just a little of onion powder in it. We're going to sprinkle a little of the Adobo seasoning on the broccoli. And we're going to sprinkle just a little black pepper, not a whole lot. Okay. And then we're going to add some water. You don't want a whole lot of water because you just want to steam the broccoli. And broccoli does tend to have a little water in it already, especially the frozen broccoli. So as it steams, it will release the natural water out of the broccoli florets. So we're just going to put some water in here. I already put some in a measuring cup, but we're not going to use all that. You just want to kind of really cover the base of your pan that you're cooking it in. So we're going to pour that water on it. Okay. And then we're going to let that steam for a few minutes. So in this pot, I use almost a cup, but you can always drain your broccoli once you finish cooking it. Okay, and you're just gonna let it simmer for a few minutes. Okay, and that seasoning will go through it. Right. Okay guys, our cube steak is completely brown, as you can see here. Okay, I put it on the plate so all 4 pieces have brown, and I set them aside, and while that is sitting, we're going to begin the gravy process. So for our gravy, we're using a little oil. You don't want a whole lot of oil, but as you can see here, I've already poured the oil in there. You can see it moving around in the pan. Okay, and you can see about how much I use, and that's probably about 1/4 of a cup. Okay, and we're just letting that get hot. It won't take, it's pretty much already hot because the pan is so hot. Right now we're just going to add our onions. You can see it's grease is hot already. And we're going to let the onions saute for the onion gravy, and we're also adding some of the frozen bell pepper. Also give it just gonna let this saute for a few minutes, and then we'll be back and put our cube steak in it after it simmers. Well, first we're gonna add our water and flour and let the gravy brown. Then we'll add the cube steak. So we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. So the grease, onions, bell pepper, you let that saute. Then you're going to spoon in flour and let the flour start browning. Okay. Alright guys, our onions and bell pepper has been sauteing, and now we're going to start spooning in our flour to let the flour start browning. So as you can see, I moved the bell peppers and onions on one side of the pan so that it would not be in the way of the grease, so it won't be continue to fry. We don't want it to get too brown. Okay, so we're spooning in our flour, as you can see. And we're just gonna You see the flour is sizzling, and we want that to start browning in here. And you have to make sure that it's hot enough so you see the flour is dissolving in the grease. And we're going to do another spoonful. And the flour is what makes the gravy thicken. We're going to add just a little bit more. And this is a teaspoon. So I already put 2 teaspoons in there. And that should do it.